are live. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Beast Talk. I'm Maurice Speaks, aka Speaks the Beast, and with me today I got Jay Ice.
What up?
What's good? What's good? For all of you all entering into the show at any moment, if you feel like leaving a comment, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. We'll post all comments on the screen and we'll address your comments. If at any moment you want to join the panel, just say the word. I'll drop the link and you can join this conversation live and in person. Another thing, this is not an echo chamber. So, me and Jason, we may not agree on certain things. If you're watching this show, we don't expect for you to agree with everything we're saying. If you disagree, go ahead and post a comment in the chat and we can get into it. We look to disagree. We look to have a conversation. That's the only way that we're going to bridge the gap, right? So again, like the video, share the video. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. Feel free to join the conversation. Without further ado, let's get into this. What's good with your Iceman?
Nothing, man. Just chilling.
Word, that's what's good. That's what's good. You got the big debate coming on tonight. A lot of people
Yeah,
gonna be tuning in to that. They got a big election coming up this year. How you think people gonna move with that coming on?
I say F that. They need to be watching this instead of the debate. Nah.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, crazy.
but yeah, I think I can give you like my political analysis on the whole debate tonight. I think for Donald Trump, he's got to show stability and show his ability to be reserved and not just criticize somebody's look or features or whatever. Just keep it polite and professional. I think if you're Kamala Harris, you got to demonstrate that you're knowledgeable and you have a good grasp of the issues. um, so it's kind of like the double standard for men. Donald Trump, and for men in general, we're looked at differently. Like, people look at us as like we got to be in control or demonstrate some self control.
Right.
And for women, the double standard is not being able to think intelligently and be able to do the job better or as good as a man could do. So I think both of them got to demonstrate those characteristics tonight to be successful.
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you just now joining, he was speaking on the debate that's coming on tonight. We just opened it up, just a little icebreaker. But yeah, I think it should be a good debate. Big election coming up, should be interesting. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it goes. You know how these things are. You know what I mean? Let them shoot out the same policies, talking points. They're gonna go back to back and forth. You know, let's see what they get into. You know, it is what it is. I probably ain't gonna watch it. I'll probably sleep through it. You know what I mean? But that's just what it is. But anyway, that's gonna be that. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these topics. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these topics. And again, if you're watching, feel free to join the conversation. Post a comment at any moment. And if you want to join the panel, I can drop the link in the chat. You can come on up. All right, Iceman, let's jump into this.
All right.
First topic. Is there a double standard when it comes to men and women from a sexual standpoint? Now, this is, when we talk about body count, we talk about hoes. When I say hoes, I don't mean just men. You got people saying men is hoes.
Right.
You're talking about cheating. You're talking about all this stuff. Is there a double standard between or amongst men and women when it comes to sexuality?
When it comes to sexuality, I think somewhat. Um, I think back in the day there was definitely a double standard with regards to like women and their body count. But I think over time, with the culture and everything, like music popularizing, uh, women being sexually active and having different partners, I think it's in some ways, unfortunately, it's kind of became the norm. So that double standard is kind of went away a little bit. Um, I think it's still a little bit of a double standard, but not like it used to be decades ago. Um, I think I think men are frowned upon just as much as women now, or you could look at it
Yeah.
as men are celebrated for having multiple partners, and women are too just as much nowadays. So I think it's just changed over time.
Okay. So what about in regards to cheating and things of that nature? Would you say it's the same? You know, if a woman is cheating on her man versus if a man is cheating on his woman, is there a double standard there, or is that equal across the board?
I think to a certain extent, it's frowned upon more if men do it.
Okay.
Um,
It's frowned upon more if men cheat than if women cheat.
yeah, because for like the men who cheat, like from a societal standpoint, especially in the court system, is frowned upon. But if you're a woman, it's kind of looked at as, well, you know, what was her husband not doing right, or they kind of make an excuse for it in a way. In that sense, like from a legal aspect, but in general, you could look at it the opposite way. I think it just really depends on who you ask. But
Who's more likely to take who back? Are you,
who is more likely?
yeah, like if a woman cheats, is it more likely for a man to take her back, or if a man cheats, is it more likely for the woman to take him back?
I think it's more likely for the man to take a woman back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
uh,
so. Because women, once a woman really finds out that you cheated on her, um, I think a lot of cases it's over for you.
this is pretty much
Um,
over. Okay.
yeah, I guess it depends really on how you look
Yeah.
at it.
Okay. I'm gonna have to jump in there, Jason. I'm gonna have to say you wrong on both of them, man. You are dead wrong, Iceman. You are dead wrong. Let me tell you why. It's more frowned upon if a woman cheats on her man than it is if the man cheats on a woman. That's all around the world. It is more frowned upon if the woman cheats on her man. You
Yeah,
understand? No matter what religion you in, no matter what book you read, a woman's value, a woman's purity, that's where her value is held at, right? In that purity. So anytime a woman steps out, they're gonna look at that more harshly. You see what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
common for men to have multiple partners, and I'm not talking about like within a marriage. I'm talking about in general. It's common for a man to have more partners. Think about men who are doing well. Even if you go to the higher levels, celebrities, athletes, even on a regular level, it's not unlikely for this man to deal with multiple women. The society will pat him on the back and say, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, he the man, he the man, he got them all, he a pimp, right? Remember that he a pimp."
right,
But it doesn't work in reverse the same way. If a woman is dealing with multiple partners or has more guys, she's gonna get shunned for that. They're gonna hammer her if she's dealt with multiple guys, or even if her track record says that she's dealt with multiple guys. Let alone we're talking about if she's in a relationship or a marriage and she steps out and cheats, she's less likely to get taken back in because that man's like, oh, what the heck? I know a lot of men who have stepped out on their woman, and that woman is more likely to take them back because you got to remember, men and women value is different. A lot
mhm,
of a man's value comes from his ability to protect and provide. So if that man can protect and provide, a lot of times, even if he steps out on that woman, she will take him back. Now, is that absolute? Is that every woman? No. But there are a lot of women who will take a man back who was protecting and providing for her and giving her money and making sure she good, she's more likely to take that man back than the reverse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's flip it. If a man is taking care of a woman, and let's just say she goes out and cheats, why would he take her back? I mean, he's the one giving up his resources. So it's
Right.
not likely for him to give up his resources and allow you to go deal with somebody else. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why, yeah, it's more likely now. I'm not saying one right and one wrong. I don't think nobody should be cheating. I think if you feel that urge, you feel like you need something else, you need to separate or disengage from the person you are bonded to, and be a man or be a woman and go deal with somebody else. But
I guess
I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think, one should be cheating in the first place, but it's more likely for a woman to take the man back than the opposition.
yeah, I guess I'm just saying that I guess I was just saying it's more acceptable for women to have multiple partners and to cheat than it was back in the day. You don't think so? I think it is,
Nah,
man. I
no, you're
think it is.
wrong. In what world do you see it okay for women to have more men than men to have women? Like, in what world is that?
I
I
mean,
want you to
like,
think about it.
yeah. Um,
Think about it.
I'm talking about like society as a whole,
Yeah,
not just
yeah,
like not individual like relationships. Because I think you are right about a man not taking a woman back that's providing.
right,
Like you said, why would he take her back? But like
right.
society as a whole is more acceptable of women being promiscuous and having multiple
No,
relationships. I think so. I just think it
no,
is.
heck no, heck no. You off
Nah,
on that. Society is not more for women being promiscuous. Now you have women who are promiscuous, but that doesn't
yeah,
mean that the society. If you see a woman out here is promiscuous, or you call her a hoe, she's less likely to get married than a woman who say, "Oh, I only been with two people, three people, four." Nah, the one who been with the least amount of
yeah.
men, that's the one who more likely to get married, not the one who
Now, if
say, "Oh,
you,
I've been with a
it,
hundred." You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? You got it
if you're talking
backwards.
about getting married, yeah, if you're talking
Yeah,
about getting married, that's true. She's least
that's going to
likely to
be the
get married,
ultimate goal in most cases. That's going to be the ultimate goal.
right? But I'm just saying because the marriage rate and the divorce rate is the divorce rate is going up, the marriage rate is going down.
Right.
That's partly the reason. I'm
You
not
say
saying
what
that's
now?
the whole reason. I said that's partly the reason why people aren't as many people getting married these days.
Yeah. So Demetrius comes in. What's up? Shout out to Demetrius. Appreciate you for tapping in. He said he means the women get a pass, whereas the men do not. And I get it. That's what Ice is trying to say, but he's wrong. He is dead wrong. The women are not getting a pass. Now, what I'm saying is, are these women getting chosen? Are these women getting selected for long-term relationships and
Uh,
marriage? The answer is no.
nah, you right. They're
Nobody,
not.
nobody's knowing that there's a woman and she's got all these partners, and they're like, oh yeah, I think I'll go ahead and get in a relationship and get married. No, that is
Yeah.
not happening. What your guys are in Mars somewhere.
Nah, you right about that. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
not take the marriage part out of the equation,
Okay.
like,
Okay. Let's take marriage out of the equation. Go ahead.
because that's why the marriage rate is down. Like, you don't see as many people getting married anymore because it's
That
more
is a lie.
acceptable.
It is
You
not. That is
think
not
so?
true. Yeah. Try. Hey, you say that less people are getting married. Try going down to the courthouse and trying to, take one and say we want to get
Oh,
married.
I mean,
See how long that. I know you haven't, but
I
go down
haven't
there
looked
and,
at the
and go check to
statistics.
see how long. Hey, go see how long that waiting list is. That is a fallacy.
Okay,
That is not true. People keep saying that the marriage. Go try to go down there and schedule for a wedding or
okay,
ceremony. They're gonna say, oh well, you got to wait about a month. You can bounce around to different courthouses in the area. I bet you that
yeah.
line is long. People get married out here. I don't know what kind of stat where they getting these numbers from. People getting married,
Nah, I
but
mean, you might be right. It seems like not as many people get married anymore. I
yeah,
don't know why. It just seems that way.
it can seem that way, but there are a lot of people that are actually bonding and getting married. They just it's almost like fake news. It's like propaganda. They putting a lot out there saying, like I said, try going down to that courthouse. You don't see
Right.
this list long. You gotta wait. But let me see. You said something else I wanted to address. But yeah, okay. You said take marriage out of the equation. Even if you take marriage out of the equation, think about it, brother. Men have been getting patted on the back for years for being quote unquote a pimp. Got all the women, got all the phone numbers. I go hit this one, I'm gonna go hit the next one. I go hit the next one, I'm gonna go hit the next one. Men have been praised for that over the years.
Right.
So, in what world are you guys living in where you're saying that, oh, well, nah, women can do it? No, women get shunned, women get called hoes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some people try to say men are hoes. No, men ain't hoes. Men are hoe makers. Let's get it clear. Men make hoes. You see what I'm saying?
No,
So,
I'm just saying it's more acceptable now. That's all I'm saying.
and
This is more
it's not.
acceptable.
It is
You
not
say it is not.
acceptable.
It's flat out not. No.
It is not acceptable. Even the women online who post a lot of nude pictures and pictures showing everything, men are going away from those women. Men are using
Yeah.
those women for recreational use. Those women are not getting rings. You go down your Instagram feed, your Facebook feed, some of it could be going on TikTok. It doesn't matter which platform you want to use. Those women are not getting rings who's showing everything or who got all these guys. These women aren't getting
Right.
rings. You see what I'm saying? And some of them might say, oh, well, it's by choice. Well, the truth of the matter is this: they cannot secure the man who they want. You see what I'm saying? They can get them. There's men out there they can choose from, but
Mm.
these aren't the men who they want. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's a big difference. So I ain't gonna let you get by with that one. You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna
It
let me
is
slide.
not. It is not acceptable for a woman to have all these partners. Anyway,
No, I don't.
let
I
me
don't
tell.
think it
Go
is.
ahead.
No.
Yeah, and people ain't going for it, man. I don't know. I hear what you're saying. People tend to give women a pass, but not in that way. Not when it comes to sealing the deal. Yeah, for recreational use, yes, but not
Right. Right.
long term. Let's just keep it 100.
Yeah.
Dave
You.
come in. Dave come in. Appreciate it, man. Hey, man. It's all good, man. You can't win them all. Dave come in and say basically men are expected to, I think, be better than women in every way, even if we fail. Even 1% were thrown out like garbage. It applies to everything. Having high expectations for me is subconsciously admitting people are better than you. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a standard when it comes to that. A lot of men feel like, men had to, yeah, and again, it's true. Men have to be dang near perfect for these women to take them on. I get what you're saying. Dave comes back in. They're not getting a pass, but they're look making it look good via social media. Cardi B proved their lives are in chaos. That is true. Expectation for the people. All right. Demetrius comes back in. Marriage rates have declined over the past decade. However, the numbers have trended up in the last couple of years. Go look at the stats, right? So you see that he's saying the
Okay.
numbers trending back up. Shout out to
Okay.
you, Demetrius. Shout out to you. Dave comes back in and says, yes, but women choose to deal with pimps. It's women that are giving men a pass. They're dating women, not men. Right? Yeah. So
Okay.
with that being said, yeah, women are choosing these guys, but you got to understand. I like to throw this stat out there: 90% of the women are dealing with 20% of the men, as far as the single women. They're choosing 20% of the men. 90% of them, they're dealing with the same guys. They're dealing with the same guys. That's why it's not unlikely to run into a guy who has multiple kids by different women. You know, um, some of the same guys. It's like you either gonna find a guy with no kids or you're gonna find a guy with multiple kids. It's rare to find like a guy with one kid. That's rare. You can find it out there, but a lot of times you'll have one guy, he'll have a lot of kids with different women, and then you'll have other guys who have no kids at all. It's rare to find it in between, although they do exist. But the exception doesn't make the rule. Um, so cool. Anything else on that double standard when it comes to the body count, the cheating? I know some people like to tap in and say all men are hoes. I mean, all men cheat. People used to say all men cheat,
Nah, that's
but
definitely not true.
right, it's not true. And let me tell you guys why. The reason why that's not true is this: it is hard for most men to get women. Believe it or not, some of y'all think, oh, me and y'all can get all the women. No, 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 no. There's a percentage of men who have no problem getting women. That's a smaller percentage. But the rest of the men out there, once they get one, it's best for them to just chill out and seal the deal. If you don't believe me, all you got to do is go to your local Walmart. You might want to go to the mall. Go hit some of these restaurants up. Go to some of these stores. Just kind of get out and move around a little bit and start looking at some of these guys. These guys are average guys. They're not guys who you see and you be like, oh, I bet he getting them all. Nah, you see that type of guy every once so often. You might see a guy out there who getting all the attention. You know what I'm saying? You might see a guy who, where you go, you see him walking around that mall or wherever y'all at, or the event or whatever. Eyes is glued on him. But that's not every guy you see. That's like you got to count some numbers and it's like, oh, boom, he getting them all. Boom, he getting them all. But all these guys, no, a lot of guys are just average. A lot of guys, that's why the porn industry is skyrocketing. OnlyFans, strip clubs, guys are resorting to going to those places and sites to see women in the light that they want to see them in. You see what I'm saying? If men were getting women the way people thought they were getting them, they wouldn't resort to that. They wouldn't have to spend their money. They'd be getting it for free from women who crazy about them, right? Women they got lined up. Nah, that ain't the case. But if you look at OnlyFans, you look at the strip club, you look at these DMs, you look at all these people paying for sex. You see what I'm saying? The rise of guys watching porn all the time, all this stuff. This is because they're not getting it on a regular basis. There's a small percentage of guys getting these women sexually, and that's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dave come in saying, honestly, most women would rather date a guy with kids. That could be true because a lot of times men with kids bring a certain level of maturity and stability. He's not out here doing all this stuff. He's not wilding out. He's going 9 times out of 10 be stable. Not always though. You got some guys with kids who bums. Yeah, you just call it for what it is. But to a large degree, a lot of guys with kids tend to have their stuff together. Dave come back in. He said, I don't cheat. I don't have trouble getting laid, but most women my age are annoying. I only want one, and not even every day. I understand that, brother. We understand that, man. Shout out to you. You know, um, we know you're gonna find what you're looking for. We know you're gonna find what you're looking for. And with that being said, I'll say one more thing on that. Yeah, and when it comes to even body counts and things like that, it's more acceptable for a guy to have more quote unquote bodies than say the woman he's with or the women in general, right? It's almost uh, it's almost an unwritten expectation that that man is going to have dealt with more women than she has dealt with men, right? It's just one of those things. It's a double standard, but hey, it is what it is, and women are more likely to accept. Men who remember, women want a guy who other women want. Women want a guy who other
Yeah.
women want. You know what I'm saying? It plays a big part into her choosing a certain man, right? If other women want that man, she feels good. It's almost like she feel like she won. She won a trophy. Now that's not in all cases,
Yeah.
but in many cases, that's what it is. But with that being said, but let me say this. So Ice, if you had to say, what percentage of men would you say cheat?
I think most people would say half, but I think
Okay.
it's low. I think the percentage is actually more like 15, 20%,
Okay,
20,
that's reasonable.
25. I say
Yeah,
30% at the most, 30%.
yeah.
I don't think it's as common as most women say it is for sure.
Okay, okay. With that being said,
It also depends on what you describe as cheating. So
that's true. That's true. I realize that people's definition of cheating is different, but we're just
right.
talking about sexually right now.
Sexually,
We're
yeah.
talking about sexually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
actually pretty low, I think.
Okay, sounds good. With that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into the next topic, man. We're gonna jump to the next topic. I'm gonna ask you this, Ice. Is it a
So,
good thing or a bad thing if a girlfriend or a wife allows for threesomes to take place within that marriage or that relationship? I'll say it again for the people in the back. Is it a good thing or a bad thing if a wife or a girlfriend allows for a threesome to take place in a relationship or in a marriage? Multiple threesomes. Let's just say it's a part of their lifestyle. Let's just say.
mhm. Well, you might not like this answer either, Maury. Um, it can be a okay thing, but
Okay.
I will say that if you were gonna try a threesome or anything like that, you better get your mind right first. You better leave your emotions and your feelings at the door. Uh, it's a lot of bad things that can happen. That can go wrong if you do that type of stuff. I mean, me personally, I've done it before.
Okay.
But that was with some people that was a group of people that was not in a serious relationship. So I don't know how it would work in a marriage or anything like that. I think it can work, but it takes a group of special individuals for it to work. So
Okay. It takes a group of special individuals for it to work.
yeah, you got all three people involved got to be in a certain state of mindset for it to work.
Okay.
But it can. There's a lot of times it goes wrong. A lot of times it doesn't turn out good. So
Okay. I got you. All right. Yeah. That time don't turn out good. Dave come in and say, I'd say it's 50-50. I've never seen it work. I've also seen unexpected pregnancy come from it.
yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
things that can
That-
go wrong.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Demetrius comes in and said, I've never been into entertaining more than one woman seriously at a time. Only had two long-term relationships prior to now. Good stuff for you, man. Good deal, brother. That's good. I like to hear that. Um, yeah, what I say is if if a woman allows for a threesome to take place, within a relationship or marriages, me personally, I think it does more harm than good. I'm gonna say it again. If a woman allows or pushes for a threesome or threesomes to take place within a relationship or the marriage, I think it does more harm than good. So, what do I mean by that? When you allow certain things into your relationship or your marriage, those doors, I'm gonna say demonic doors are open, and you take the risk of your partner, your spouse, falling in love or being into someone else other than you. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens is people open those doors and their spouse ends up secretly dealing with the other person behind your back. But because you've okayed it, you know what I'm saying? They might think, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. They know we all, we they know this ain't nothing new. They know we mess around. So again, things are going to be done. There's a possibility, a high possibility of things being done behind your back. when you open up that can of worms of allowing another person to come into you all's relationship or marriage sexually, right? So that's a dangerous, slippery slope to go down. Now, I know a lot of guys think that that is an amazing idea, right? There are a lot of guys that hope and dream for a woman to allow them to bring another woman into the bedroom,
Sounds good.
but it sounds good in theory, you know,
Yeah.
but when you have to actually entertain, and some do it with multiple women, and when you have to actually entertain multiple women, that can become very problematic. And then that goes over into the polygamy conversation, which we won't necessarily touch on right now. But, it is hard uh, entertaining more than one partner. And again, you open up that door. And then what could also happen is your spouse can realize that they don't really like you like that when they experience somebody else. And that's something that you don't want to deal with, because if you are in a serious relationship and or a marriage, you may be going down a quick path to divorce, you know, and you don't want that to happen. So be careful wanting to introduce other people into your sexual life. Again, a lot of guys, a lot of guys, it sounds good in theory. It sounds good in theory, but when you invite somebody else into your bedroom, and it could be you may not like your spouse as much when you invite somebody else in, right? And that ain't good either, you know. So we gotta be careful when doing something like that.
Yeah, I think if you in a serious relationship, you plan on being with that person for a long time or forever, I definitely recommend that you don't do it. Um,
Right,
if you're gonna do it, just do it with a group of people that y'all are just like friends with benefits or something like that.
right,
Don't do it with somebody you serious about, because
right.
you're gonna open a Pandora's box, and it might go well, it might go good. That in the moment, everything might go great, but when that sun come up the next morning, unexpected things might happen. So
Oh, as far as if they if they go into doing that,
let's be honest. A lot of times when it's threesomes involved, you either high or drunk. Um,
yeah,
and then you wake up the next morning, you might be looking at your spouse or the person you really care a lot about, want to be with forever. You looking at her in a whole different light. Like, damn, like I did not know you had that in you. Like,
right,
and then
exactly,
you got like Dave said, you got unexpected pregnancies, you got STDs that could come up later. Like you got all
right.
types of stuff. People forget with STDs, it don't show up right away. It might show up 2 weeks later.
Oh
There's a lot
man,
of things that can happen, and
yeah,
it feels good in that moment. But
you don't want that, man. You don't want to be in the clinic. You don't want to be waiting on that. You don't want to be out there. Right. So yeah,
you be in the clinic for hours waiting on a peanut butter
right,
shot.
right. You don't want to deal with that, man. You don't want to deal with that. So we on the same page with that. Do not introduce that into your marriages or your relationships. I'm telling you, it sounds good in theory, but you will take a L in the end. Trust me on that. All righty. With that being said, go ahead and segue. Ice,
What's up?
what are your thoughts about child support in the system? What are your
Well,
thoughts about child support? Should we do away with it?
a lot of men out there are gonna be surprised at my answer. I'm gonna say
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No, we shouldn't. Absolutely not.
Okay.
And I can explain why. Um, Number one, we got way too many men out there that can lay pipe and swing that wood, but they can't do anything else in life. They're not raising their kids. They're not taking care of them.
Right.
Um, and then a lot of people will say, "Well, what about the men that are carrying their weight? You know,
Right.
should they have to pay so much in child support?" And in most of those situations, I feel like those men have made a mistake
Okay.
when they got divorced. They made a mistake, and the number one mistake men make is they fight with their ex-wife over the kids
Okay.
or
All
for
right.
the
I
kids.
got you. Okay.
Um, when you go through a divorce, you have to look at your ex-wife, the mother of your kids, and you have to sit back and honestly say to yourself, is she a good mother?
Okay.
And if the answer is yes, or she's a decent mother, then you should not fight with that woman when it's time for a divorce. Because if you're a man in that situation and you go to court over child support or anything to do with the kids, you are gonna lose every time.
Okay.
Um, so a lot of men that are good men taking care of their kids in their kids' lives, they just made that mistake when they got divorced, and that's why they're in the position they're in. Me and my ex, when we got a divorce, we settled everything outside of court.
Okay.
So we came up with an agreement. Like I agreed to pay X amount of dollars every month in
Right.
exchange for seeing my kids every weekend.
Okay.
Um, so it's always better to work it out with your ex spouse and to settle everything outside the court. Um,
Okay.
courts have changed. It used to be that the courts would always take the mother's side in a
Yeah.
situation.
Uh-huh.
That's I know that from experience. That's not so much the case anymore.
Okay.
When I went to court, I seen two different mothers. I seen two different mothers lose custody of their kids.
Okay.
Um, so women do lose custody of their kids. That's not an uncommon thing. In
Right.
the, in those
Right.
in those cases, the mother pays child support to the father.
Yeah. Right.
So it goes both ways. Child support is not just a men or a man issue.
Right.
Women in some cases have to pay child support too.
Right.
But I just think we got way too many men out there not carrying their weight and not taking care of their kids and doing what they're supposed to do as a father to just
Okay.
say okay, we're gonna do away with child support. So
Right. Okay. I got. Oh, I see
so
what you're saying. It would be a huge disservice if
right,
they went down that path. Disservice to the children
right,
if they decided to do that. Okay. I can understand
right,
that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I actually to a larger part agree with you. I see it both ways. Um, you know, if you have kids out here, they definitely need support. And if you take child support off the table, a lot of men, and then there's women too as well, but they will stop, taking care of those kids as they are supposed to. You know what I mean? They may still do some things here and there in some cases, but a lot of times, if you let that parent who's not in the household, get away with things, a lot of them will fall by the wayside and not take care of their responsibilities. Let's just keep it 100. Um, but on the other end, would there be, if they were to take child support off the table, Are there any pros that could come out of that situation? Even if it's, say, in the next 5, 10, 20 years? If they took it off the table
I
today.
don't I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Um I think for the men that don't do what they're supposed to do as a father,
Hmm.
it'll just incentivize them to get more women pregnant, and because they don't have to take care of the kids, like nobody's holding them accountable. Um, and then as far as the men that are on child support and still taking care of their kids, if the kid is not living with you and living with another person, um, I guess it really doesn't make any difference because you're either gonna she's gonna spend the money on the kids or you're gonna spend the money on the kids. Like the money is going to the kids. And a lot of men say, well, what about the women that are just taking the money and buying themselves clothes with it or
Right.
buying new cars?
Yeah.
Well, if your ex took the money and bought a new car, your kids need a ride to school. But
Right.
if she you can argue that maybe you're paying her too much, but there's a whole system set up for that. Like you can go to court and argue your case in court. I always say it's just better just to be a fucking man and settle everything out of the court, because
Okay.
when you go through the court, you're putting your life, your kids' lives in somebody
Hmm.
else's hands. That you
Right.
might not like what that judge has got to say
Okay.
at the end of the
Right.
day, and that applies to women too. I seen two women that were absolutely distraught in the courtroom because they didn't like what the judge had to say. And I
Right.
so I just advise everybody to settle it out of court. Um,
Okay. Okay.
but
So you
there's a
advising
system.
everybody this. Right.
Yeah,
So what I would say is this. My thoughts are if you did do away with it, if you did away with it today, I think that it would have a positive impact 5, 10, 20 years down the road. And here's why. If you did away with child support today, the impact that it would have 10, say 20 years from now is this. Women would be more careful with who they had a kid with because knowing that you're gonna have that kid and you ain't got no support coming. Because that's what I'm saying. You take the whole uh, ability to receive it off the table. If you
right,
did that, if you took away that access, a lot of women will be moving differently. Because right now, a lot of women know that, hey, there's a safety net there. You see what I'm saying? If
right.
things don't work out, I can receive child support. I mean, you got a whole movement going on of women who try to bond with athletes, celebrities, and men in general who got money, uh, so that they can just they don't want the man, they want the money, they want the baby. You see what I'm saying? They want the
Yeah,
babies.
I think
So,
you. I think it'll work. I think that would help. Would be a positive, but
mhm.
at the same time, I think if you're an athlete, a male athlete, you should recognize that there's women out there that will do that. So you just don't get them pregnant. That's
No, because you got some who will switch it up on you as soon as that baby's born. So, I mean, I
okay.
agree with
You
you.
like you're misled. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I agree with you. But you got to think the women who are, say, on that level, these
Yeah.
women are pros at what they do, my friend. So, hey, you might
Yeah.
think, oh, yeah, we got something going. We're going to get married. She's really into me. Nah, man, she's into the money and the lifestyle. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's not, again, I don't think most women could pull it off, but the
Right.
women on that level are pros at it. That's what I'm saying. But that's a very, very small percentage of women. Very small percentage of women. But those women are like actors, dang near. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Actresses. like they're good at what they do, because I know there's some that have kids by different celebrities and athletes. So they know what they're doing. Like they're not just gonna deal with certain guys. There's a certain caliber guy they go after, and they tend to know how to get a baby or babies out of those guys. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? And that's no coincidence. So that's why I say if it happened today, the effect would it have 10, 20 years from now? You see what I'm saying? You'd have a generation of women out there who aren't, gonna just let you lay down, and they're not gonna do it. They're gonna think twice. They're gonna say, hold on, like I need to make sure first. A lot of them gonna make sure they married first. They're gonna make sure they get married before they have a kid. And I heard somebody else say this. They said that if you do take that off the table, you're gonna have a lot of more abortions out here, which could be the negative effect, because they're gonna be like, we ain't having these
Right.
babies if this guy is a little shaky in that 9 month period, or in that first say 3 months after she gets pregnant. They like, yeah, I ain't about to take care of this baby by myself, and ain't no child support coming either. It's gonna be a whole different train of thought. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I think things would change. Some would say for the better, because then they would be held responsible. Okay, if I get pregnant, I need to make sure I'm gonna have a serious bond with this guy, or I ain't gonna get no child support. Ain't no money coming.
Right.
But if we together, of course we're gonna raise this kid together. But I ain't about to be out here just having babies and ain't no child support coming. A lot of women would move differently. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that too. But
Yeah. Like,
but I think a lot of women when they think that way, see a lot of women they get pregnant and have babies by men that they know at the end of the day are not going to step up and be men and be fathers. So, but they think that way until they meet.
oh, is that true? You saying they having them with men who they know ain't gonna be a
And
father?
not in all cases, but yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think a lot of women have babies by men that they know are not going to be there, and they just want the child support or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but those women have never met a real man. See,
Okay.
when they meet a real man and get pregnant by him, they wake up the next morning and they got a letter in the mail from the judge saying, "I got to be at court on this date
Right.
about my child visitation and custody." So
Right.
then the tables get flipped on them. See,
Yeah.
that's the
On the
thing.
good guy.
Yeah, the tables for on the women get flipped on them because now all of a sudden they got to go to court, and if they not up to par as a mother, as a parent, they could lose those kids and they could be on child support.
Right.
So
Right. That's true.
it goes both ways. Like a lot of men could step up and really get custody of their kids and put the kid's mother on child support if they wanted to.
Okay.
Um, but I don't recommend you do that as a man unless you got a good reason to do it. Because if you don't have a good reason, you're going to go to court and you're going to come out on the short end of the stick at the end of the day. So
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. So all in all, yeah, what we saying is, boom, child support should remain, because you got a lot of men and women out here who would slack up and taking care of their kids if you took that system away, and it would be a huge detriment, or very detrimental to those kids, if there was no support coming in from that other parent. But that's not in every case. Some
yeah,
parents, some adults are going to do what they got to do regardless if there's a system in place or not. They're going to take care of the kids. They're going to make sure they got everything they need. They're going to send the funds that's needed. They're going to be around them as much as they can. Then others, you give them a chance, they're going to deviate from those responsibilities and neglect that child. And we know those situations get ugly. You got a lot of moms out here who get left, you know, out to dry,
and of course we don't want that to happen. So the systems are in place for a reason. On the other end of the spectrum, um, if you took that system away, I do believe more women would be responsible with who they chose to have children with, knowing that there's no child support coming, there's no support coming from the man's side. So a lot of women would be making sure that they were married before they carry, and they would be very, very selective with the men who they decided to have unprotected sex with, and very careful with the man who they decided to go ahead and go through with having a baby with.
Yeah, I could see it that way too, though. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying.
So yeah, it can go both ways. I think it makes for a great conversation. Um, but that's all we got on the docket tonight. You got anything in closing as we close out this episode of Beast Talk?
Yeah. Hey, just take care of your kids. Do what you got to do as a man. Man up,
Hmm.
man
Yep.
up. Leave the courts out of it if possible, and just work it out between you and your ex. It worked out fairly good in my situation. It's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but it worked. And we didn't, I'm not court ordered on child support or none of that. And I give her child support every month. I ain't never missed a payment. And it
Good deal.
works. So if you could do it out of court, do it out of court. I highly recommend it because you might not like what the judge says. Just keep that in mind.
Yep,
That's
and
all I
that is
got.
a fact. That's a fact. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we got to get along. Let's raise these kids. Let's do what we got to do. We spoke today on double standards and everything else. If you're catching this on a replay, if at any moment during this video you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and share it. Go ahead and share this with your family and friends because we do not want to be successful by ourselves. If there's any topic that you want to hear us speak on, go ahead and drop it in the comment section or drop it in my inbox. If you want to come on the panel, hit me up in the inbox. I can drop the link and you can join the next show, or if you aren't available for the next show, we'll get you on a show in the future. But we appreciate y'all for watching this episode of Beast Talk. Remember, keep God first. Keep God first. Men out there, make sure you stand on a firm foundation before you bond with a woman. Make sure you are standing on a firm foundation. Women, if you decide to bond with a man, make sure it's a solid man. Make sure you're ready to follow his program. Make sure you're ready to do things God's way. We are speaking positivity over here. We want to see you all succeed in what you got going on. But without further ado, we love you all. Be blessed.
Peace.